Good day, everyone. I am Micaela G. Guzman from BSA 3B and I will be reporting Biarritz Vacation and Romance with Nellie Boustead. With the Bousteds in Biarritz. When Rizal arrived in Biarritz at the beginning of February 1891, he was greeted warmly by the Bousteds, particularly Mr. Boustead, who had taken a special liking to him because of his extraordinary talents. As a family guest, he was treated with friendliness and hospitality by Mrs. Boustead, Adelina, Nellie, and Aunt Isabel. Romance with Nellie Boustead. On an emotional rebound, Rizal, having lost his beloved Leonor, came to entertain considerable affection for Nellie, the prettier and younger daughter of his host. He wrote to his intimate friends except Professor Blumentritt of his love for Nellie, also called Nellie, and his intention to propose marriage to her. Antonio Luna, who had previously loved and lost Nellie, encouraged Rizal to woo and marry her. He even wrote a letter for Rizal from Madrid. With the encouragement of his close friends, Rizal courted Nellie, who in return reciprocated his affection. But unfortunately, Rizal's marriage proposal failed for two reasons. First, he refused to give up his Catholic faith and be converted to Protestantism as Nellie demanded. And second, Nellie's mother did not like Rizal as a son-in-law. Years later, in Rizal's exile in Dapitan, Father Pablo accused Rizal of being a Protestant, but Rizal refuted the accusation. Although Rizal and Nellie could not get married, Rizal and Nellie parted as good friends. Nellie even sent him a farewell letter when she learned that he was leaving Europe. El Filibusterismo finished in Biarritz. Rizal began writing El Filibusterismo in Calamba in 1887. He kept working on his second novel while courting Nellie Boustead. On March 29, 1891, the eve of his departure from Biarritz to Paris, he finished the manuscript of El Filibusterismo. To Paris, back to Brussels. He stayed at the home of his friend Valentin Ventura at the 4 Rue de Chateaudoun. In April 1891, Rizal was back in Brussels, where he was happily received by Marie and Suzanne Jacobi and above all, Petite Suzanne. Retirement from the propaganda movement. Since abdicating his leadership in Madrid in January 1891, owing to the intrigues of his jealous compatriots, Rizal retired from the propaganda movement or Reform Crusade. On May 1, 1891, he notified the propaganda authorities in Manila to cancel his monthly allowance and devote the money to some better cause, such as the education of a young Filipino student in Europe. Rizal stopped writing for La Solidaridad. Simultaneously with his retirement from propaganda movement, Rizal ceased writing articles from La Solidaridad. Marcelo H. Del Pilar himself realized the need for Rizal's collaboration in both the propaganda movement and in La Solidaridad newspaper. On August 7, 1891, Del Pilar wrote to Rizal begging forgiveness for any resentment and requesting Rizal to resume writing for the La Solidaridad. Rizal wrote letter to Del Pilar denying any resentment and explaining why he stopped writing for La Solidaridad. His first reason is he needed to work for his book. Second is that he wanted other Filipinos to work also. Third, he considered it very important to the party that there be unity in the work. Revising the Fili for publication. In Brussels, Rizal worked day after day revising the finished manuscript of El Filibusterismo and readied it for printing. On May 30, 1891, Rizal wrote Jose Maria Basa that his book is ready to go to press and that he already corrected the first 20 chapters. The book is ready to be reprinted and he will recopy the rest. June 13, 1891, Rizal informed Basa that he is already negotiating with the printing firm and he do not know if it will be printed in Belgium or in Spain. And if by chance anything happened to him, he will leave its publication to Antonio Luna. Let us move on to the next topic, El Filibusterismo, published in Ghent. Revision in Ghent. July 5, 1891, Rizal left Brussels for Ghent. Ghent is a famous university in Belgium. Rizal has two reasons for moving to Ghent. First is that the cost of printing in Ghent was cheaper than in Brussels. In Ghent, he met two compatriots, Jose Alejandro from Pampanga and Edilberto Evangelista from Manila, both studying engineering in the world-famed University of Ghent. Owing to his limited funds, Rizal lived in a cheap boarding house with Jose Alejandro as a roommate. The printing of El Filibusterismo. Rizal searched for a printing shop that could give him the lowest quotation for the publication of his novel. He did find a publisher, F. Mayer van Loo Press, number 66 Vianderen Street, who was willing to print his book on installment basis. As the printing was going on, Rizal's funds were running low and the money he expected from his friends did not arrive. He had received some money from Basa and 200 pesos from Rodriguez Arias. On August 6, the printing of El Filibusterismo had to be suspended because Rizal could no longer give the necessary funds to the printer. Ventura, savior of the Fili. In a moment of bitter delusionment, Rizal almost hurted the manuscript of the Fili into the flames, just as he almost did the Nellie in Berlin. Help came from an unexpected source. Valentin Ventura in Paris learned of Rizal's predicament and immediately sent him the necessary funds. The Fili comes off the press. September 18, 1891, El Filibusterismo came off the press. Rizal gratefully donated the original manuscript and an autographed printed copy to Valentin Ventura, who generously loaned him the funds needed to finish the printing of the novel. Filipino patriots in foreign lands and in the Philippines praised the novel to the skies. The members of the Filipino colony of Barcelona published a tribute in La Publicidad, a Barcelona newspaper, dedicated to Gomburza. Rizal dedicated the El Filibusterismo to Father Gomez, Father Burgos, and Father Zamora. The manuscript and the book. The original manuscript of El Filibusterismo in Rizal's own handwriting is now preserved in the Filipiniana Division of the Bureau of Public Libraries, Manila. The Philippine government acquired the original manuscript of El Filibusterismo from Valentin Ventura for 10,000 pesos. Two features in the manuscript do not appear in the printed book, namely foreword and warning. Inscription on title page. El Filibusterismo contains an inscription written by Ferdinand Blumentritt which is not found in many published English translations. Comparing the two novels, the Nellie is a romantic novel while the Fili is a political novel. Nellie has freshness, color, humor, lightness, and wit, while Fili it contains bitterness, hatred, pain, violence, and sorrow. Nellie is much longer than Fili because Rizal needed to cut it due to lack of funds. Rizal, together with Marcelo H. del Pilar and Bretena, who is Rizal's first Spanish biographer, believes that Nellie is superior to the Fili. Others, including Blumentritt, Graciano Lopez Haina, and Dr. Rafael Palma, are of the opinion that the Fili is superior to the Nellie. Rizal's unfinished third novel. On September 22, 1891, 4 days after Fili came off the press, Rizal had already in mind to pen a third novel. The unfinished third novel has no title and contains 44 pages in Rizal's handwriting, still in manuscript form, and is now preserved in the National Library, Manila. The hero of the novel was Kamandagan, a descendant of Lacandula, last king of Tondo. He plotted to regain the lost freedom of his fathers. One day, he saved his two beautiful granddaughters, Maligaya and Sinagtala, from the lustful Spaniards, the Cura and the Encomendero of De Laguna. It is said that Rizal was fortunate not to have finished this novel because it would have caused greater scandal and more Spanish vengeance on him. Rizal's other unfinished novels. First is the Makamisa, a novel in Tagalog that is written in a light sarcastic style. Second is The Pitan, another unfinished novel that he wrote during his exile in the Pitan to depict the town life and customs. A novel in Spanish about the life in Pili, a town in Laguna, is also unfinished. Another unfinished novel of Rizal, also without a title, is about Cristobal, a youthful Filipino student who has returned from Europe. The beginnings of another novel are contained into two notebooks. Through the mouth of the celestial characters, the author describes the deplorable conditions of the Philippines. I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching.